I'm Reece Stein at your leisure along the way on San Francisco Bay, heading for one of the most infamous national landmarks in the country. Marianne and I hadn't done the Alcatraz tour for years. Time to check out the historic prison. If you haven't done it, it's probably worth it. The included audio tour leads you through the cell blocks just as they looked when Al Capone, Robert Stroud, and Machine Gun Kelly lived here. The cells appear as they did when the prison operated from 1934 to 1963. It was established in 1847 as an army base and prison. We even get to try out some of the facilities. This cell features the hole in the wall where Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers made their escape in 1962. They were never caught and presumed drowned. The escapes are remembered today with the Alcatraz Triathlon, which requires the 1.5-mile swim to the mainland. None of the 36 attempted escapees are believed successful. We visit the kitchen, dining hall, and exercise yard. Alcatraz is now a national park. During our week-long visit to San Francisco, we did mostly touristy stuff, walking or riding the extensive, convenient, and cheap transit system. A ride on the famous cable cars costs $8, no break for seniors. They travel from Fisherman's Wharf through Chinatown, then down Powell to Market Street, the city's commercial center. At the Lombard Street stop, we walk the crookedest street in the world. Every driver must test his skills with a twisty trip down Lombard Street.
Oh, there's so many highlights. I wouldn't know what to choose really.
The trolleys.
All of it. Yeah, the cable cars. Yeah.
The 28 bus takes us from the Wharf to the Golden Gate Bridge. Had to walk over the famous bridge at the entrance of San Francisco Bay. When it was finished in 1937, it was the longest and tallest suspension bridge in the world. Today it carries commuters, tourists, walkers, and bikers north to Marin County. It's painted international orange to increase visibility. Great views of Alcatraz Island and Civil War-era Fort Point below at the base of the South Tower. The bus continues to the Presidio, former military base on the northern tip of San Francisco. It served as a U.S. Army base for 219 years when it was deactivated and became part of the Golden Gate Recreation Area. At George Lucas's corporate headquarters, we're welcomed by R2-D2 and a menacing statue of Darth Vader, as well as other Star Wars memorabilia. Outside, Yoda greets visitors from atop a fountain. At the historic cemetery, we run across the grave of Union Civil War General Irwin McDowell, infamous loser at the Battle of Bull Run. We choose to walk the 3 miles back to our hotel along the coast, from the one-time Crissy Field Airport, past an inland pool with a smattering of birds, look back for the best views of the bridge, past a jillion dog walkers, to Fort Mason and the Great Meadow with 1/2 mile of paved paths and more dogs. Fort Mason became the main supply port for the Pacific Theater during World War II. The buildings remain, but now serve as headquarters for the National Recreation Area. The land for the fort was confiscated from private landowners, including the pathfinder John C. Fremont, whose explorations opened the American West. The bus takes us to glorious Golden Gate Park and 1,000 acres of forests, meadows, and lakes. The 28 bus leaves the park for the Sunset neighborhood and the spectacular tiled staircase climbing the hill from 16th Avenue. The 163 mosaic steps depict the ocean up to the sun, detailing animals, fish, and shells. Names of resident contributors adorn the figures. The tiles are on the risers and not visible from the top. Nearby is the 143-step hidden garden staircase, tucked tightly among the buildings. Another community-based effort with lots of color. At least 5 other staircases are scattered around the city. Fisherman's Wharf is changing. It is now centered on the restaurants and shops around Pier 39. San Francisco offers so much in a quick week, we barely scratched the surface. Reece Stein with Marianne along the way in San Francisco.